Hello, beautiful people. This is Evelyn coming at you again. And my topic that I'll be discussing is COVID-19 regulations and why we need them. The ongoing issue we have here is that first, we really did not take this pandemic seriously when it was first starting. We failed to come together as a community to start wearing masks early and, stay home. And people traveled outside of the state to Arizona and Texas, which were red states before we even got to that point. And they just started spreading everything. And so many people in our community are starting to just not wear their masks correctly, or they have been wearing their masks incorrectly. And there's nothing people are really doing about it, to be honest. Everyone's kind of just dealing with it by ignoring it. So, COVID has been just an issue that's affecting us, but not really something that many people take seriously until it affects them. And, so many people have lost their lives, and so many people know somebody that has lost their life. And it just has affected us in so many ways. So the numbers here are, we've had 896 deaths in Bernalillo County alone, 54,000 total cases in Bernalillo County, and 36.7 positive COVID cases of Native Americans in New Mexico. And that's a pretty high number. And we've had 3,911 deaths in New Mexico, which thankfully recently it has not been increasing as rapidly, but it's still unfortunately increasing. And that we've had so many overall deaths in the United States, and that's just because of the negligence that we've had, starting in the pandemic. And for the brief period that we took it seriously, it was starting to look good, and then people just stopped thinking that it was a problem anymore, and so they just ignored it. How can we fix it, though? We can actually enforce masks and social distancing in stores, restaurants, and public places. I work at a retail store, and we have line markings for people to follow, and nobody follows them. I kind of have to put my foot down and ask them to just, distance themselves, because we're still in a freaking pandemic, It's kind of insane. I don't know. And then I see people that just walk around with their masks off, and a couple of my other friends that work in retail or in food service, they also have had so many experiences where somebody just gets offended because they're asked to put their mask on, or they fake an illness, or they say that they can't breathe in this mask even though they're perfectly okay. So we should actually start enforcing masks and social distancing. Should cut down on non-essential travel. I know that has not really been a thing. It was just encouraged to not travel if it wasn't essential, but now people are starting to not really mind it. People went and traveled for the holidays, which I know it's great. You get to see your family, but so many people are dying because you're spreading COVID. And, quarantine also helps. That quarantine period that we had, it was a good decrease for us, and then it just went up as soon as we stepped out. So we should also really increase the vaccination rates, especially at this point, since we've gotten so far into this pandemic that we have the opportunity to be vaccinated, but it's not at a fast enough rate where everybody can get their doses easily and quickly. So increasing that would actually help so many people and save so many lives. And also just washing your hands. I can't tell you how many times I've been to a bathroom and the person next to me washes their hands for 5 seconds and then calls it a day. And it's super gross. And not just because they're spreading COVID, but because you just took a number one or number two. But anyways, what happens if we don't? Someone close to you may be affected. I unfortunately got COVID. God knows where, but I do work in an essential business, so that's probably where I got it from. And I unluckily gave it to my family. And the saddest part was giving it to my parents, because obviously they're not as young and as, I guess, strong, for lack of a better word, as me, and they did not deal with it as well as I did. So it was terrible to see them, and I hate it. But I did have had some friends lose family members over COVID, and they are so passionate about wearing masks and social distancing because they have lost a loved one, and we just, I don't know, feels like people don't accept it until it happens to them, but if we don't, social distance, enforce masks, and do all this stuff, these easy steps too, life as we know it may never go back to normal, and that's so scary. I just want to be able to go out, go get some snacks without my mask, and that seems like a very ideal world. And sometimes I forget my mask, and I don't want to have to do the walk of shame back to my car to get a mask ever again. It's so embarrassing. And just the United States and the individual states that are just doing terribly in the masks, especially Texas. We were just gonna continue to be the laughingstock of other countries. We were gonna be the butt of jokes for the longest time, and that's what happened in 2020. As you can see in this little example right here.
The World Health Organization is helping out by debunking coronavirus myths. On their website, they say spraying alcohol all over your body will not kill viruses that have already entered your body, okay? That's important. Spraying alcohol on the outside of your body doesn't affect the viruses inside. So, let's get this where it's needed. The World Health...
There you go. So what if we do go back and, follow all the steps, social distance, wash our hands for longer than 10 seconds? We can go back to going to public mass gatherings, like concerts, festivals, clubs, you name it. You can hang out with your group of 20. You can go to a college party, which sounds really fun, but I have not gotten the chance to go to one yet. You can do so many things. You can go back to class, which, God, I hate Zoom. No offense. And so many people are able to see their elderly or hospitalized loved ones again. I'm thankful that I don't have anybody in that situation, but it's so, it just pulls in your heartstrings to see somebody just reunite with their grandparent or their spouse or their kids who are in the hospital or are, just old, because they haven't been able to see them during quarantine with the risk of coronavirus. We want to be able to see our elderly, and so many people have their other loved ones, their family members in other countries, and right now, travel is very limited to other countries, so many people are just missing out on so many events, and I'm sure that they would be eternally grateful if they could go get to see them again. And also, no masks. Like I said, you don't want to do another walk of shame back to your car after you go to Target and you walk in and they're like, hey, do you have a mask? And you're like, duh, of course I have a mask. And then you realize you're not wearing any. So we don't want that. Just going back to normal, no masks again. Unless, you have anxiety. In that case, masks are a great thing. You can tie to your face. But yeah, here's some of the countries and the places that have all gotten the chance to just reopen everything because their cases have gone down. Even though there was a big spike in them, as you can see. But now they're all right. They don't see as many deaths. They don't see as many, just suffering, honestly. Just because they took action early and they enforced action early. Like, Australia's already having concerts and everything. Like, aren't they so lucky? But yeah, that could be us. We could do it. Together, we can all stop the spread in New Mexico. And slowly but surely, we can stop the spread in the United States. We can go back to class, go back to going to parties, go back to doing everything we wanted. And that is all for me. Thank you guys for watching. I hope that if you wear your mask wrong, that I encouraged you to wear it right. And that if you stand super close to people when they're checking out in line, that you take a step back next time. But anyways, I'm signing off. I'll see you later, and have a great day. I hope everybody stays safe, and that's all for me. Bye!